Hey everybody, this is Kim Kent here, and we are in Kim's Corner, and I am so excited to have my friend. Look, he's my brother from another mother, and I am your, what'd you say I was?
You're my sister from another mister.
Yes, Angel Sobrino from the Hive Interactive, and we are here chopping it up today about AI and
We are.
about legislation that came out. So here's the thing. I
Hmm.
was talking, remember we've been chit-chatting about this before, but Maryland this month, this was in June, passed this it's called the Artificial Intelligence Ready Schools Act. It's the Maryland AI
Oh,
Ready Schools Act. So basically what it's doing at this point, it's mandating AI instruction, mandating guidelines. They've got to come up with guidelines. And the premise behind it is good, right? You want kids to be completely ready for really for AI. They have to be ready
right,
for
right.
technology, period, right?
Oh, yeah,
And one of
right.
the things I said is that we're in this season, and I think we've always been in this season. Technology is so fast paced. It is
Hmm.
moving and grooving and it's changing radically. And even I think you had mentioned that whatever they put together this year, they've got a year to come up with the thing, and
Right.
it's supposed to go for 2 years. It it will most likely it's going to be obsolete because technology is moving that quickly, and you have to
Well,
be
right.
that
When
nimble.
when the
Yeah,
technology updates every Tuesday, and you're
right.
trying to you're trying to implement something that gets updated every couple of years. No, it's not going to work, Kim.
No, no,
You got to keep up with the pace, and in order to keep up with the
right.
pace, and I don't want it to sound that way, but it
Hmm.
requires a little bit of embracing this technology, the same way
Sure.
we embraced the pencil all those
Right,
years ago, the
right,
same way we embraced the pen after that, and
right.
the typewriter, and then the keyboard, and of course here we are
No,
with
computers, right?
with
I still
speech,
remember, right? I still
text. We don't even
remember.
have to do this anymore.
Right. We don't have to do any of that stuff.
We
It's
just
it's
talk.
so funny because I still remember, I don't know, I know I'm totally dating myself, but I still remember when the internet first came out, he was like, that's how you got online.
Gosh.
Right.
Yeah. Oh
Right.
yeah. Like a
But
fax, like sending
right,
a fax.
exactly. But that, if you look at that now, that seems like the age of the dinosaurs,
Right. And
right?
it wasn't that long ago when you
And it
think
was
about it.
not that long ago.
It
It
really
was not that
wasn't.
long.
I mean, if you think about
Yeah.
the other advances, things like the automobile or things like
Yeah.
other industries, dare I say the education industry,
Oh,
you'll
hello.
notice a lot of things haven't really evolved or
Right.
changed. It's
Right.
kind of
Right.
very the same way it
Yeah.
was, and it's
Although I
always
will say with the
has been.
automobile industry, dude, I was in where was I in? I was in Texas. I was in Austin, Texas. Self-driving cars.
Okay,
Like
I
these
was gonna
white
say, wait, they drive
cars
themselves
that
now, so
drive
that's
themselves. There's like no passenger in there, no driver, the craziest thing.
autonomous vehicles,
But
huh?
that's where we are, right?
Listen, I was in Miami a couple
Hmm.
months back and
Yeah.
in downtown, and we were at the corner going up to the hotel,
Yeah.
and standing at the corner, they dropped us off, the Uber dropped us off, and I
Yeah.
was like, of course, I thought, oh, we should eat something. We're in Miami,
Hmm.
downtown, let's get a fun bite. Not even 2 seconds later, I turn around and there's a little robot rolling around the street and it's asking me if I want to eat what I would like, offering me croquetas and empanadas. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? There's robots on the street that know I'm
Crazy.
hungry. Like it knew it.
That
It
right,
was
right.
weird.
And that's the thing. It'd be one thing if it was like the robots, and you see them on college campuses, especially that are like delivering, they're
And they deliver,
delivering, right,
yes,
they're doing
drone
delivery now.
delivery.
They're
It's like
drone
a
delivery
little
all day
robot.
long.
It's
But for
somebody
them to
sitting
come
in
and
a
say,
room
"Are
playing
you
a video game
hungry? And how can we help you?" Like, what in the
like that,
world? That's where
offering,
we are.
asking me. Yeah, that's
It's
where we are.
crazy.
Like Miami's known for their door service. They have a
Yeah.
promoter trying to get you into that nightclub, or
Hmm.
there's someone holding the menu saying, "Hey, are you hungry?" That's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
typical Miami behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never did I think I'd see a robot the size of a cone, a trash
That's
can sized, and
crazy.
I thought it was brilliant. I was like,
Yeah.
imagine
It's
the
fascinating.
the the wonderful consequences of this. Like you can
Yeah.
feed people that don't have access
Yeah.
to food.
Yeah.
And you think in a community like downtown Miami, yeah, think about a community like downtown Miami. There are people that are, they don't exactly live in the
Right.
penthouses
Right. Right.
and
Right.
those little palaces up there. So that technology can be reapplied, reissued,
Completely.
repurposed into a more
Completely.
sustainable thing. Let's feed some hungry people
Right.
instead of,
Right.
but I
Right.
get it. It
Yeah.
costs money. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's great marketing,
Hmm.
but there are always such there's always alternative and additional things that can be done for a society as a whole. And
Yeah.
that's really where I love to marry technology and nature. I love everything to kind of come
Right.
together because
Mm-hmm.
technology that doesn't coexist
Mm-hmm.
with nature is not it'll be against it, right? It's working
Mm.
against it. And
Mm.
that's why we
Wow.
have these things like you said in Maryland right now, where they
Mm.
have this really, really, dare I say, like the most I want to say strict, but that's not the right
Yeah.
word. I think it's like they have the most rigorous attempt at at requiring, because it's a requirement,
Right.
it's a
And that's the
mandate.
problem. Right.
It
The
there's the
minute you
choices
mandate,
out the
it's an
door.
issue.
Phew.
Right. Right. And that's the issue. Well, actually, there are a couple of issues with that. So, like, one issue for sure, straight out the bat, is it's mandated. And
Right.
it's kind of like you're telling us to do this, and what does that really mean? That means you're going to do, unfortunately, another one size fits all, because that's
Right.
right. It
and
doesn't
and let
work
me
like
tell
that.
and so piggybacking off of that back to
Right.
Florida, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
Florida we know is very pro-choice, it's very school choice
Mm-hmm.
oriented,
Mm-hmm.
people oriented. They do a lot of districts,
Right.
districting, but it's
Right.
basically ultimately up to the parent or the
Right.
guardian of the student to decide the fate, if you will,
Yeah.
or the educational choice
Like, who
of the
makes the
child. So
decisions? Who makes the
in
decisions?
Florida,
Mm-hmm.
was it Senate? I took notes.
Mm-hmm.
Senate Bill 1194
Okay.
officially died in committee on March 13th this year.
Mm.
Okay, so what that would have done though is it aimed to kind of force the State Board of Education to adopt strict statewide standards,
Mm.
mandated AI digital literacy
Mandate.
for 6th to 12th grade. You're talking secondary kids. This is out of that imagination zone and into
Yeah.
the are we getting them ready for the workforce zone.
Right. Right. Same thing
And
that
now
Maryland was
you're
trying to do. Yeah.
mandating, but it was
Right.
dedicated. Like it required school codes to like conduct to regulate AI.
Right.
And
Right.
that's where you're already approaching this the wrong way, right? That's highly
Mm-hmm.
restrictive. That vibe, that whole
Right.
Florida vibe, that
Right.
Maryland vibe,
Right. Right.
it's highly restrictive,
Right.
necessary,
Right.
but highly restrictive. And
Yeah.
the bill would have banned students from using AI unless explicitly permitted by a teacher per assignment. Like
Right. Right.
take us for
Right.
example at the Hive.
Mm-hmm.
We're fully remote. We're an online learning environment. We're a home
Right.
education
Right.
cooperative, if you will, and we're across several states.
Mm-hmm.
Based out of Florida though is where I started all of this, and branched out now into other states like South Carolina. We have a Hive in Virginia, not too far from you over there. But the vibe has always been regarding AI.
Mm-hmm.
The vibe has always been these guardrails and like parental opt-ins. Like in South Carolina, there was that opt-in, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to. It's a written parental opt-in. It's not.
Right.
Is that a choice?
Right. Right.
Now you're bureaucratic about it, and now we
Yeah.
need
Right.
it in triplicate and signed. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can.
Yeah.
It's like baby and bathwater. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So I think that, of course, I didn't do enough diligence, but the current status in South Carolina, for example, is that the bill is still sitting on that House Committee for Education and
Yeah.
Public
And if their
Works. I think
legislation,
it is.
and if their legislation, right, if their legislative session is over, then that means it basically died in committee. It's just
Right,
that, because
right,
that's what happened with that's what happened with Maryland's right to play law. It's just, it's dead in committee. It's not doing anything. Sad,
so
but
you
whatever.
think about that,
Yeah.
and it's what is that doing
Hmm.
for resources? What is that doing for the advancement of AI? Because
Right.
it's not about being pro or against AI.
Right.
If that's the conversation, I feel like that's a whole different conversation.
That is a different conversation, because you have different, you have different factions at it. But something that we had mentioned earlier during the earlier call was there's always going to be resistance. There always has been,
Right,
right? And
right,
so, like, to say, is there, no, there are always going to be naysayers. There are always going to be, just as there was with the laptop, just as there was with
right.
computers when they first came out. What are we doing putting these big things? And now literally, what? Where everybody has a computer,
Everywhere.
your phone, they're carrying it with them, they're
Your
wearing it on
glasses
their
have them
bodies, right?
now.
Your glass, right? Right. So it's like, whatever.
Right.
So it doesn't stop, it never stops the advancement of technology. It just hasn't
It
done it.
doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not a wave. I call it an echo, and I call
Okay.
it an echo because AI, all sorts of technology, it's an echo because of the ripple effects that it has. Kind of like a
Yeah.
butterfly effect, if you will. It
Yeah.
has sort of like ripples when you throw a petal into a pond that is still.
Yeah.
The ripples go all the way,
They
and they
go
don't stop
all the
going
way. They
until
don't
they
stop.
reach the shore. Once
Mm-hmm.
they reach the shore, you know what happens? This wonderful thing. Once it hits the shore, it comes back. So it's this
Mm.
incredible symphony
Love it.
of harmony, and
Yeah.
that harmony is what is beautifully orchestrated when you have technology coexisting with nature. And that nature can be a classroom, it can be more traditional, less traditional, it could be a homeschool, it could be a private school, it could even be a public school, which is a little out of
Right.
my
Mm-hmm.
arena.
Right.
You know, I've never taught in a public school, but
Mm-hmm.
I attended public
Yeah.
schools. I
So did I.
graduated. I graduated top 10. I was a
Woohoo!
great student,
Woohoo!
but
Yeah.
I remember what I sacrificed. I remember what I've lost. I
Mm.
remember having to sacrifice things as
Mm.
an extra. And I called myself an extra kid because I did all the
You
extras.
did all the
I
extra things.
I
Yeah.
I learned an extra language.
Yeah.
I did extra volunteering. I
Yeah.
helped. Yeah, I was extra, extra, extra,
Mm.
and I missed out on what other kids were doing. You know,
Mm.
that typical just I don't wanna being a
Yeah.
lazy on the
Yeah.
couch, just
Well,
eating
I don't know. I didn't
cereal.
have that. I grew up in New York and I didn't have that because of my mom. So there was
Oh,
no way.
it was
She was
not
in
gonna
New
happen.
York. Yeah, she was a New York City public school teacher. It was
Oh
not
no,
happening.
not
It
happening.
was
Not in
not
that
happening.
house.
It was not happening. No, absolutely not.
It was,
So
but
yeah.
I mean, and times they definitely have changed,
Hmm.
but the tech, I remember the technology was always there. And I always
Right.
remember finding a happy medium. I was like, okay, I
Hmm.
like playing the video games, but I
Hmm.
like being outside.
Yeah.
And I eventually, now that I'm older, oddly enough, I have a projector outside and we play
That
video
is
games
too funny. You have a
outside.
projector, right?
You know,
Right, but you've married them both. You've married them both. And
that's
so,
what it's
and
about.
here's the other the piece that I also love too. And we're talking here on this segment here because we're going to go to some other segments here. But we're
Mhm.
talking about the choice of there. So yours is a highly AI interactive program. It's like I think you said once it's in your DNA. That's just what you guys do,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And then you look at like a program like ours at Extend, where it's really left up to the individual person, to the individual instructor, because each
Hmm.
of our instructors are all independent contractors. They decide. They're in charge of how they run their classroom. They're in charge of
Nice.
how much technology they use or don't use, right?
Well, that's how you avoid
Um,
burnout, Kim. You can't
that's
micromanage
true.
everybody.
I cannot. I refuse. I refuse to. I absolutely refuse to.
No.
And why would I when they're bringing their best game,
Right,
right? They're
right,
bringing their.
right.
I I leave it
They
alone.
are the best architects for these
Yes,
possibilities. And I've said this
absolutely,
before. We
absolutely.
are the architects of these possibilities,
Hmm.
and we know best, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
know your crowd best, you know your
right,
people best, and
right,
everybody's
right.
different. Like,
Everybody's
and
different. Yeah,
it's funny,
everybody's
you know,
different.
we train facilitators, not proctors.
Mm.
That's something that we do here. So like
Wow.
in a traditional setting, there's professional development teaches teachers how to police AI usage.
Mm.
At the
Mm.
Hive, the training focuses on that, like co-pilot, go side by side.
Hmm.
Like, hey, let me hold your hand. The same way you used to hold your hand that first time you went to Disney, or the
Right.
first time you got on a boat, or the
Let me
first
show you how to
time
navigate this.
you got on the subway,
Yeah.
right? You're like, come on,
Right. Yeah.
you put
Let's
your
go
beep,
do it together.
you go
Yep.
through the turn dial, let them know you're
Hmm.
here. You get in,
Hmm.
you stay off the yellow line, you cross.
Right.
That's so you
You
we
know, it's so
teach
funny.
you
I
train
love that.
facilitation instead of
Yeah.
proctoring. You know, sage on the
Yeah.
stage.
I
We
love that.
we have
Yeah, and I love
movies.
that. And actually and speaking of transportation, because I'm thinking right now of my daughter who went to a concert, right? And in
Right.
order to get this, but she knows we've done public transportation enough that we know how to do it and we're really comfortable. And there are times when we'll use it and then times when we won't. I'm here in Seattle right now. My son and I just took public transportation down to downtown Seattle. It was beautiful. And then we went and said, let's go see if it'll take us to the airport. And it took us to the airport, but
Nice.
we have that as an option now.
Mhm.
And for us, it's opened up a possibility that when we do come here to see family, we can tell them, hey guys, you don't need to come pick us up from the airport. We're going to take the train from the airport and you just meet us at the local train station that's right there. I mean, but
Right.
it opens up a world of possibilities. But that idea of I'm going to come alongside you to help you navigate it. And then the degree to which you choose to use it is completely up to you.
Yeah,
It's good.
that's the magic.
It's
That's
good.
where the magic
It's good.
happens.
Yeah.
That's where we're training the training focus aspect, right? That
Right.
professional development aspect.
Right. Right.
That's where we get ready to integrate things that are like,
Hmm.
I mean, Kim, we are already living in that post-mandate reality.
Yeah.
Okay, we
Yeah. Yeah.
the Hive Interactive is already meeting the spirit of the
Yeah.
AI Ready Schools
Yeah.
Act
Yeah.
by integrating it into the culture here.
Right.
It's we don't treat it like a separate subject. You're not, oh, we're gonna
Right.
do AI today. Now,
Right. Oh, that's a good point because that is such a
that
good point because that's what
exactly.
that legislation said was it
So is it
needs to be
saying
incorporated. I'm telling you, it
okay
says it needs to be incorporated and it's a
in
part of the
every
standards. No, no, no. It says it needs to be a part of the standards of computer science.
okay,
That's what it says.
okay.
Versus what you're doing, right? And again, that's I
Hmm.
think that's the limitation that happens when you talk about mandates.
Right.
Because when you're set free to just like create your own thing, then you do what you've done, which is you incorporate it into everything that you do, right? Or
And
not, because
it
like in our
sounds
program, we don't do a whole lot of that. But yeah,
well,
but
it sounds
it's your
extreme though in
choice.
that way, but when you
It
think about
does.
it,
Yeah.
yes, and I want to add a little caveat to it, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
yes, and we
Mm-hmm.
also keep it very human.
Yeah.
This you got to understand these AI tools give my instructors and me instant
Mm-hmm.
real time live feedback data.
Yeah.
I know what level any of my kids are.
Mm-hmm.
And there's about 47 of them right now that are
Yeah. Yeah.
full timers and maybe
Mm-hmm.
112 or so
Mm-hmm.
not full timers that just kind of come and go a
Right.
la carte.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, gotta love it.
Yeah.
But any of these 40 or 50 kids that I
Mm-hmm.
monitor regularly, that I'm reporting to their parents regularly,
Mm-hmm.
at the drop of a dime, I push a button. I can tell you where their gaps are. I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you how far they've come since their last. Shh, buddy,
Wow.
keep it
Wow.
down. I can tell you where. Hold on,
I
they left
can't
my
hear. I can't hear.
puppy in. Okay.
I can't hear.
Oh, what happened?
That's what
They
happens when
locked
we're
him.
live, y'all. This,
They
this is
locked
it.
him
This
in
is a
here.
live thing. This is how it is.
Over here, buddy. We got
Yeah.
Miles. He's got to get out. Let me
Mm.
let him out, Miss Kim. Hold
Okay,
on.
hold
This
on. You
was
know what?
get
Hold on. I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna
okay.
pause this for a
Okay.
second.
I'm sorry.
And we're back. Okay. So yes.
So yes, what I was saying, where we're, oh Lord, Kim. Okay, so we train facilitators, not
Mhm.
proctors, right?
Right. And
We
so
the
that you
data.
have
Okay,
the data right there
we
at a
get
moment.
this.
You know exactly where your kids are.
We know
Exactly. No
exactly where they
questions.
are. We know where the
Hmm.
gaps are. We can
Hmm.
identify these markers and then literally teach to the level. So what
Hmm.
does that mean? What does that mean? That means we have 11-year-olds that are doing algebra and geometry. That
Hmm.
means we have dual enrolled eighth and ninth graders,
Hmm. Hmm.
college dual enrolled,
Hmm.
like
Because they can handle it.
because they can handle
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
That means that I have a third grader that reads um, Plato,
Mm.
and understands. Now,
Yeah.
they're reading Plato, right? They're reading Socrates, they're reading all these classics, and because they're
Hmm.
into it, it's
Yeah.
fun, right? Not a mandate, not a requirement,
Right.
but they don't always know exactly what they're reading because some of these words can be a little bit like what, like
Yeah.
what
What does that
language is
mean?
that?
Yeah. Hmm.
So they plug it into their AI tool,
Hmm.
depending on which one we're using for that assignment or
Hmm.
whatever it is, that task, and they translate it. It translated and
I love that.
modernizes it.
I
They
love
can
that.
they use Teen Talk, so they can even go. It's not only translating 1,000 or 500 or 200, 300-year old texts.
Hmm.
Thousand, they're thousands of years old.
Right. Hmm.
Not only translate them into modern English, it translates it into future. I call it future English, or teen
Mm.
talk, as they
Teen
say,
talk. I
or
love that. Okay. Gen
where
Z,
where
where their
Gen Z, it's
slang,
so
their
mid in their slang.
yes.
And these AI tools
Wow.
are so, this type of, not this type of power, this magic,
Hmm.
Kim, is what is changing the face of education.
Yeah,
This is why
for
I'm like, how
sure.
can you be against a tool that does this?
Right.
If you have a kid that does not like, oh, he's not good at math. Oh, oh, don't get me
Hmm.
started when parents and
Hmm.
people start, oh, my kid's not good at math. He's in English. And I was like, really? You thought
Right.
about that for a second? Why isn't he good at English
Yeah.
math? What's wrong with math? Oh no, they're just not at a very high level. Okay, but are they at level? Well, they know, and they
Mm.
just don't like it. Well, have you ever tried to make the math personal? Like, have you ever
Right.
made it
Make it so
about
that they
video
can
game
like it. Right. So that they
points?
can like it. Find a
Connect?
way to connect them
Is
in
your
a
kid a
way that's meaningful to
musician?
them. Mhm.
Everything
Oh, if
is
they're a
notes.
musician,
Everything is
everything is math.
numbers.
Yep.
Everything is
Everything's
math. Are
math.
you kidding? Oh, you're an artist. Geometry, sequencing. Everything is math is a
Yes.
language that deserves to be interpreted.
Hmm.
What is it? Einstein. To me, math is relative. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, math is relative. Have you ever heard of girl math? Have you
Wow.
ever heard someone say that? It's rude, and I don't like saying it
No,
because girls are
no, I've never
brilliant.
heard that. Yeah.
But like sometimes they say like girl math, and like when they go shopping, you go to Target or one of those big department stores, and the girls tend
And
to run
you
all
are
over,
finding
but
out,
the,
and I
the
tell this to
husbands
the
and the
kids
dads go
all the
straight to
time.
what they need
I tell these kids all the time, I said, you are using math every day whether you
all the
realize it or
time.
not. When you go to the grocery store and you're trying to figure out what's the best deal because I have to watch my coins,
Hello.
guess what you're doing? You're looking at that and you're comparing unit prices. Guess how you do unit prices? Division. You're
Division.
doing math
You're multiplying, you're dividing, and then you're
all the
also
time.
doing induction and deduction. You're deducing, right?
Yes,
You're like, okay, what am I going to
absolutely.
sacrifice? I'll sacrifice
Mm-hmm.
calories for price, or I will. Oh, and my favorite, quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Kim, it gets serious because
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather pay $5 for a nice
Something
artisanal bread roll,
yummy.
or a
Mm-hmm.
dollar for, you know,
A loaf of
a
whatever,
regular loaf.
garbage.
I mean, I get it. You think you can afford, right? You talk about affordability, but
Mm-hmm.
this is the problem. This is the
Right.
vicious cycle. If
Mm-hmm.
you get the $5 bread once, you don't have to eat the entire loaf. You
Right.
just eat the slice.
Yeah.
And that's where marketing and
So good.
entrepreneurial education
So
and business
good.
education and
So good.
price and
Yeah.
and all of that
Yeah.
matters, and it
Yeah.
has to be relevant to the kid. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm like changing things up, Kim. I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking questions. I'm like, when kids are taught to like question AI's very like nature from day
Mm-hmm.
one,
Mm-hmm.
they are far less likely to use it maliciously.
Yeah.
Because I know that's the fear. And
Yeah,
I know
I'm sure.
that's
Yeah,
why
that
we
is.
have
That is the fear. That is the
these
fear. There's no doubt.
mandates. We
Right.
don't know.
Right.
Mandate.
And
Like, really?
they're right. And that's kind and it is absolutely born out of a place of fear. So
Yeah.
let's switch gears really quickly because one of the and then we'll go back to this because
Okay.
one of my other concerns or issues with Maryland issuing this mandate
Mhm.
for AI being AI ready and everything was you're asking these instructors or asking these teachers to now teach this. Meanwhile, you've got scores for these kids who don't know how to read and don't know how to write. How are you going to have them navigate AI when the fundamentals are not there? Because they've got to have the wherewithal to plug in the information, they've got to have the wherewithal to communicate. And if they are struggling on those fundamentals, now we're adding AI in the mix. I have an issue with that. I'm like, do make sure that you're teaching our kids how to read the fundamental instruction.
The most basic of basics.
Yes.
It is heartbreaking. And you did share with me some of
Yeah.
those
This
numbers,
that
those
yeah, the data's
alarming, and alarming
yes.
is the word I'm going to use because
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
been spending 200 years trying to cure,
Right.
rectify, and
Right.
change
Right.
exactly this, but
Right.
we're still there.
Right. So I'm gonna give you the this is for everybody. I'm gonna give you the numbers because
Yeah,
this is
let's
it.
hear them because I
So
remember
here
we
we
talked,
go.
but yeah,
There's a
yeah,
Maryland Association of Counties. Only 50%, 50.8% of Maryland students are proficient in English language arts, and only
half,
26.5 are proficient in math.
a
Based
quarter.
on the NAEP scores, that's the national the
Norm
America's report
reference, yeah,
card
yeah.
for education. Here we go. 37% of fourth graders and 33% of eighth graders are proficient in reading. Only, only 37% and only 34,
Breaks my
33%. And
heart
when you
that
go to
those
right, it's
numbers are
crazy.
less than half, at least less than half. You
Less than half, it's only a
justify it.
third. It's
I'll
crazy.
sleep better knowing at least
Oh,
half,
oh,
right?
it
But
gets
we're like
no, no, you ready for
way
this though?
below.
Let's look at reading. Reading, a
Ugh,
little better for fourth graders. 39% of fourth graders are proficient. But in eighth grade, and hell,
yeah.
25%. Only a quarter.
A quarter of the kids, eighth
So
graders.
tell me what's happening. That's in fourth grade and in eighth grade, a quarter. Only a
It
quarter of them are
makes me
proficient.
mad. I don't even feel bad. I'm angry about
It's
that, right?
crazy.
Like,
And
why are we like, why this is,
right.
and then they want to mandate.
And then you want to mandate something else, right? And so then even and here we go. Now that was fourth and eighth graders, but let's look at our 12th graders because our 12th graders, they're
Oh,
right
they're
there
on
at the
that. They're ready
doorstep.
to,
They're
yeah.
going, they're being launched,
They
they're
have a
going
foot
into
out. I mean,
society,
they
right?
don't even have a foot
They're
out. They're
done.
like head
They're
first,
done.
you know.
They're
Yeah.
like they're done with it, right? They're done with education. Here we go. There's publication by the NAEP folks, right?
Okay.
Only 22% of the nation's 12th graders were proficient in math and 35% were proficient in reading. Only
Disturbing.
33% of 12th graders were academically prepared for entry level, college level math. And in reading, only 35% were academically prepared. And both of those numbers represent a decline from 2019, a
It's going
decline from
down.
pre-COVID. Right, it's going
It's
down.
not even like leveling out.
It's
It's going
going
down still.
down. It's
So that's what I
going
was gonna say. What was
down.
this? This is all post COVID. So like pre
Post-COVID,
pre COVID,
pre-COVID, it was 37%.
it wasn't even.
It
It
wasn't even
was
right.
it was
It
already
was
the
still
water was
bad.
already
It
dirty.
was
Yeah, it was.
still
Yeah.
bad. It was still bad. So then I'm looking, I'm going, and so now you're saying we want to get our
Wow.
folks AI ready, but I'm like, can we please address? And I haven't heard this conversation. That's probably the thing.
Right.
I've heard no one mention the conversation of what about the fundamentals?
Right.
How are we preparing these kids to do the very basics? If they're going to be engaging with AI, they've got to have a working knowledge of reading and of math.
You have to.
You have to. You
And
have to.
not, you can't just, can you imagine what would happen if we jump? Now, I talk a lot about kids that are technology advanced, right? And these kids are
Right.
twice exceptional. So you got
Right.
to understand, I deal
Okay.
with all walks, right? I
Right.
have the
Right.
twice exceptional
Right.
and I have the three
Right.
years behind. I have
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, you got it
You know,
all.
I've dealt with a lot of it. So, but
Mm-hmm.
I have learned that using AI as a tool,
Mm-hmm.
it helps me do my job better. And my
Yeah.
job is not to tell people what to do. It's not to tell little
Mm-hmm.
people what to do or adults.
Right.
Like you, my founders all run their own businesses.
Right.
Yes, we all share ideas and values and that sort of thing. But the
Mm-hmm.
one thing I push is that stealth learning sort of like co-pilot stand on the side and facilitate this magical learning experience
Yeah.
because I believe education should be, if it's cool, if it's magical, if it sounds like a rap song on the
Mm-hmm.
top and it sounds like a top 10 pop hit,
They're gonna
they're
go with
gonna
it.
love
They're
it.
going to learn. Oh
And
my
they're
goodness. Can I tell you how many math jingles
it's
I've
that
created in my
simple.
lifetime, like over and over again, to the point where I have students
So
that call me up and say, Miss Kim, so I
it's
was in
stuck
this
in
college
it's
math class and I'm sitting here singing this jingle and I aced the test. I'm like, yep,
Mhm.
that's it right there. That's it right
Listen,
there.
there's something to it
Mhm,
because and dare I say public education systems are
mhm.
struggling because they're monolithic,
Yeah,
right? They
yeah.
take years,
Takes a
years as we
long
started this conversation talking about how
time.
long, because they even tell you how long it's going to take them when they start
Yeah,
their mandated policy. You got to
right.
love it. They take years to change a
Yeah.
textbook, let alone adapt to a technology like
Mhm.
AI that changes on the fly on the week
Changes on the
every
fly.
day. You're
Yeah.
in it. You got to be in this. And yes, I'm maybe a little more nerd involvement level when it comes to AI. There are other people that are a little more like, okay,
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I like
Yeah.
Copilot.
Mhm.
ChatGPT is fun. I'm
Mhm.
talking about tools that create automated businesses for teenagers,
Wow.
tools that are creating sustainable environments for potentially
Wow.
refugees in African camps. Like
Wow.
that's where the
Wow.
level of integration that I'm
Yeah.
talking about. That's the
Yeah.
type of, I'm not talking about mandating nothing. I'm talking
Right.
about whether you're in a city like Miami, LA, whether you're in Seattle,
Baltimore. Yeah.
or
Seattle.
whether
Yeah.
you're
Mhm.
in a refugee camp in Kenya,
Mhm.
you have the ability to teach kids the way they deserve to learn. And
Yeah.
that is with magic and
Yeah.
with appropriateness
Yes.
because
Yes.
we're all different. Have you ever seen a yearbook?
Yes.
I
Oh,
you ever looked at
we do a yearbook. No, we do a yearbook.
yeah, I
We do
love
one
it.
every
But
year.
like
It's so cool.
everybody's different. It's all these
Everybody's different.
faces. And as
Everybody's
hard as you
different.
try, you could put a uniform on a kid.
Mm.
You could put a
No.
uniform on 500 kids.
Yeah.
They all still look different. They all
Yeah.
have their own identities. They
Yeah.
all learn independently and
Yeah.
individually. And yes, there is the whole collective. But I
Yeah.
believe, and I'm going to use that weird, what is that like from the rom-coms? I got to be
Yes.
a better me before
Yeah.
I could be a better us. You
Yes.
know, like I gotta do right? Like
Yeah,
I
right,
gotta
right,
work
right. I
on
love that. I
me
love that. I love that. Yeah.
because Kim, these kids are it's 2026
Yeah.
everywhere, you know? It's
Yeah.
2026 everywhere. And it's it's sad that that is the staggeringly
Yeah.
low number
Yeah.
of literate kids in this area
Yes.
because it shouldn't be that.
It
And you're
should
that
not
close to the White
be.
House. Come
Come
on.
on.
You're ground zero. This is
Come
where the country
on.
begins. It
Come
starts
on.
here.
Right.
We can't do this. We
We
can't.
can't,
And
I say we have to do better. We have to do better.
the
And
mentality has to
yeah,
change.
yeah.
The
And
conversations have to be had.
absolutely. And this is, but, and I say this is where really unconventional education shines,
Mhm.
right? Because
Right.
I feel like we have answers. Come and see us. We have answers
Yes.
because we're doing it, right? We're doing it. Now,
Every
the
day.
challenge, we're
Don't be
doing it every
afraid.
single day. Exactly. Don't be afraid of us. Oh my goodness, come and see what we're doing. And yeah, it's going to be a challenge because just like you said, the education department is this huge, it takes
Mhm.
forever. Look, it's just like it's almost sluggish to
What
try to
is
make one thing.
that? Like,
I
why
I
has that not
think
evolved?
I think it's just because it's this massive engine, right? I think the beauty, again, the beauty
Yeah.
in decentralized education, the beauty in what we do, the beauty in the unconventional education movement is because you literally have these nimble, agile,
Energetic.
entities, energetic
We're
entities that are like,
energetic, Kim.
right,
We
we
work
are. We're
out.
like the
We
energetic bunnies,
stretch.
right? But we're able to move, we're able to pivot. Why were we
Yeah.
so successful when COVID happened? Because we were already doing it. And it was like, oh, okay, we
Exactly.
were
I say
used
that
to
all the time.
pivoting. We
Right.
were used to pivoting, so we did it successfully. The ones that didn't
Right.
struggled and are still
Are
struggling.
still struggling.
Yeah.
And they're focusing a lot of you know what happens when you struggle like that?
Mm-hmm.
You use that energy as a founder, right? As a
Mm-hmm.
business owner, as a parent, as a
Mm.
parent,
Mm-hmm.
as someone who runs a family and runs a business and
Yeah.
runs a nonprofit and is,
Mm-hmm.
I got my hands, I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
It's I lost my train of thought. But it's that direct, it's like you've
Yeah.
got
What you end up
all
doing with that
these
energy. Mm-hmm.
like what you could be doing
Yeah.
with that energy and refocusing it on something constructive and useful
Yes.
and sustainable for your
Yes.
community. You'll notice
Yes.
that's what that ripple effect, that's that infectious,
Yeah.
that I'd
For
like to see
sure.
that pandemic. Okay,
Yes.
I'd like to see
Yeah,
everyone
right.
catch that, get that and spread that everywhere like
Yes.
happiness and kindness. You
Yes.
catch that and spread it around and
Absolutely.
just because this is what it's about. It
Yeah.
use your energy and refocus your attention instead of fighting AI, instead of
Right.
going against because
Right.
that's it. That
Right,
like
right, right, right. Oh my
anything
gosh.
we're afraid. Oh, I'm scared. No,
No,
you're scared
no,
of bugs,
no.
so you don't have a garden at your school? Are you kidding me?
That's
You're
crazy. Yeah.
like that.
No.
No, the
No,
first
no,
thing
no,
we're
no,
going to
no.
work on is the fear of the bugs,
The
and
fear
then
of the bugs.
you
The
work on the
right.
fear of the bugs. The
Yeah.
garden will grow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the
And you're
same
talking to somebody
thing.
who's always like, that flying thing. However, I
Where's my
recognize the
fly
importance.
swatter?
I
I
know
have a
fly swatter,
fly
right? The fly
swatter.
swatter, right? However, but I recognize the necessity of those bugs,
Right,
especially the bees, right?
right.
In my
Yes.
garden, because if I don't have those bees, then I don't get fruit.
Exactly.
I don't get fruit.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that ties back into
Mm.
that symbiosis, that
Yes.
coexist, that
Yeah.
connectivity, that
Yeah.
interrelationship that we
Yep.
have with tech and nature. I
Yeah.
got tech in my garden. There's thermometers in there. Things are
I love
solar
it.
powered.
I love it.
These
Yeah.
kids did this, by the way. It's not, I say my
Hmm.
garden, and I really got to stop taking all the
It's their,
credit
it's their,
because
it's their garden.
it's not
Yeah.
mine.
It's
It's theirs.
theirs.
They built it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have this one student, he built
Mhm.
his own one room schoolhouse and it's featured on our website. So if you
Oh,
ever go to the
wow.
Hive, the
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
hiveinteractive.org, on the
Go there,
top, you
guys.
see,
Mm-hmm.
go there.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see they built a one room schoolhouse from
Mm-hmm.
nothing. This was a little patch
Wow.
of dirt that was offered to them and said, here, if you can make this
Mm-hmm.
useful, do it. And they're like, all right, we're gonna build a community garden.
Yeah.
This was like a secondhand area where they would help,
Mm-hmm.
not less fortunate souls, let's call them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the kids were like, okay, how do I get my kids involved to help these very adult
Mm.
situations that,
Yeah.
maybe weren't very appropriate? I said,
Right.
gardens.
Yeah.
Gardens bring everybody together, build a one room schoolhouse where they can put their 3D printer. They go in there with their art supplies. They have little cups. They're growing tomatoes.
I
And
love
this
it.
evolved
I love it.
into a video series where they talk to Tommy. Tommy's a tomato plant and they explain concepts.
Tommy the tomato. I love it. I
It's
love it.
phenomenal. These are
I love
kids
it.
doing this kind of work,
Yeah.
Kim. It's way
See,
out of the box thinking, and it's all
so out of the
thanks
box.
greatly in part to AI being able to personalize their education.
Yeah.
AI helped me just AI told me, "Hey, this kid needs this," and I said, "Okay."
Mm-hmm.
and I'm talking about seconds,
There
in
you go.
seconds,
There
not
you
even
go.
minutes. And
Wow.
that time that I have saved has
Mm-hmm.
prevented me from burnout, allowed me to venture into more creative kind of outlets,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and do more with
I love it.
with this process and this
I
idea.
love it.
So,
I love it.
you know,
There you have it. There you have it. Embrace. I think the lesson, I think the takeaway from all of this is that we embrace it. We're
embrace it.
embrace it, and at the same time, embrace it with a level of freedom.
Right.
Don't do the top-down mandates. Just they just aren't
Right.
effective. But
It's
when you
not
give people the
effective.
freedom, yeah,
It
when you give people,
expires. It has an expiration date.
yeah, it does. It
It might
does.
last. It might last for 250 years. It might work, for a while,
Yeah,
but times are changing, and I
yeah,
keep
they
saying it.
are.
It's 2026 everywhere,
Yeah,
and
it is
we
2026
we
everywhere.
talked about this earlier, Kim. Maybe you
Mm-hmm.
can. We should definitely. It's worth bringing this up because
Yeah.
it has to do with these mandates, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
who in this national sort of landscape, who else is as progressive as Maryland?
Right.
When it comes to these, outside of
Right.
Maryland, I think the states that are like the states that are just as sort of like progressive, I would say, is like
Mm-hmm.
Idaho, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the twin to Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Idaho has that
Okay.
governance model.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, right? So they did pass a Senate bill. I don't remember exactly which one. I have it on my
Mm-hmm.
notes. I have to look it up. But they did pass a Senate bill which functions almost identically to Maryland's act, but it has
Mm-hmm.
a little heavier focus on the data safety.
Mm-hmm.
So it's forcing like a statewide generative AI framework
Right.
requiring local school districts to adopt like official
Mm-hmm.
aligned AI policies,
Right. Right.
but it covers like data privacy, procurement, safeguards, AI
Mm-hmm.
literacy, and that kind of thing. And like
Right.
Maryland,
Right.
it strictly prohibits AI from like fully replacing human
Mm-hmm.
educators.
Right. Right.
Now that cracks me up because the most successful
Mm,
ed
mm, mm,
entrepreneurs right
mm,
now
mm-hmm.
have shrank the 8 hour school day into a 2 hour school day. Not saying that I can do it in 2 hours, but you
Right.
can. I
Right.
mean,
We
you
can't,
can.
we do it in four. We do it actually for us,
So
we do
I'm the
four
same.
blocks. We do four blocks that are 50, we joke. It's 55 minutes, four
Okay.
blocks. And in between the second and third block, you got a 30-minute snack break to kind of let all your crazy
So
out. So yeah,
4 to 5, chunked up, nice,
right.
split up.
Right. And listen,
We
and
we
we do
don't
it
do
two
five
days a
day work
week.
weeks. I was gonna
Right.
say we don't
And
have
we're
a
two
5 day
days a
work week.
week.
Right.
We're 2 days a
Right.
week. I mean,
Right.
if
We do.
anything, what we're showing that you don't need to
Right.
be in our kids don't need to be locked in the schoolhouse 5 days a week being told what to do. There's so much more for
There's an
them.
institution that comes
Yeah.
to mind that works that way. I can't think of it. It rhymes with frizzen. I mean,
I thought
come
you were going to say it
on.
rhymes with male.
Okay, I couldn't think of one fast enough. It rhymes with male. Okay. I mean, come on.
Oh,
It's the
yeah.
same when you're explain. It's when
Yeah.
you say it out loud, right? And I think that's what happened 250 years ago. People weren't talking out loud. People
Mm.
were reading, right? And I have a, is this, oh, other side of my office.
Other
There's a
side of your office.
constitution. I
Mm-hmm.
have the constitution and I have the Declaration of Independence over
Mm-hmm.
there, an original kind of copy,
Mm-hmm.
because all my students are required to understand what that says.
Yeah.
Because when they wrote it, all the 18-year-olds in this country were required to know what it says.
Wow.
Okay. So you better know what that says because
You need to
that is
know it.
what
Yeah.
tells it starts with we the people.
We the
They are
people.
servants. They
We
are
the
our
people.
servants. We have
We
all
the
the
people.
power. The power stays here with us.
Mm.
And that
Love it.
honestly is that's what separates things. So
Yeah.
back to those models, right? We have that
Mm-hmm.
governance model. There's a literacy model out there, and then there's that privacy model, like in California, where everything is
Mm-hmm.
like privacy and
Yeah.
two-factor authentication and get
Right.
my
Right. Right. Right.
fingerprint scanned. But
Right.
you had mentioned to me a fourth.
I said the
Model.
fourth, and I said the fourth is the freedom model.
Yeah,
Hey, don't you love that? The
I do.
fourth is the freedom model,
Right,
where we're not given a mandate. Instead, people are free to incorporate it as they choose. And what
right.
happens with that, and I said, and actually wrote about this, what happens is that there are three benefactors to that. And really, ultimately, everyone wins. Everyone
Yeah,
wins.
yeah,
The programs win, right?
right,
Because they're free to create the program that fits their communities, that fits the people that they serve, right? And they get to make those choices. And in doing so, right, because they're let's just be real. They're marketing their program
Well,
to
yeah.
other families. It's
Right.
going to be good. They're not going to put out garbage. They're not going to
Right.
put out junk, right?
Right.
It's going to
Absolutely.
force them because they're wanting to attract these students to their program. They're going to
High
by
level, top
definition, it's going to be
tier,
high level.
highest
It's going to do
standard. Right.
all the
Right.
things, right?
Right.
I mean, look at Extend. We've got like our cybersecurity instructor. He's with the DoD supply chain guy. I mean, it's like, I mean, come
Nice.
on, PhD, come
That's
on.
as close as you can get.
Exactly, exactly. Okay.
Right.
So there's that.
Talk about front
So
lines.
right, front line, right. And so again, so what happens with that, that freedom, it benefits the people who are running the programs, the founders and the instructors in those founders. It benefits, then it benefits the instructors. The
Right.
instructors are free to utilize it in a way that works best for what they're doing, what their objectives are in that
Right.
classroom.
Right.
They are free to make changes, and they have the flexibility. Remember, we talked about
And they
them
can
being
change the
nimble, and
variability,
they can
right? The
change, they
pivot,
can vary it, they can pivot as they need to pivot, they can
just like
lean
our
in when they need to.
kids.
Exactly.
Yes.
They have that freedom in that. And then
Mhm.
third, the parents have, well, really, there are four people. The parents
Enter
are
Florida school
free.
choice.
Enter school choice. The parents have the freedom, and even within the family, if you've
Right.
got two, you know how it is. I got six kids.
Oh yeah.
They're all across. They're
All over.
different, all over the place. The
Yep,
ones
I
that
know
are
it.
techie will gravitate towards that techie program. I can choose that techie program from them. The
Right.
ones that need to be, no, we need to like not tech because they're like,
Ah, I'm
then they,
terrified of
right,
it.
they're right, right.
Kim,
Okay.
Kim, I have
Yeah.
I gotta tell
Go
you
ahead, go
because
ahead, go ahead.
we're talking about two. I'm gonna limit it to two extremes, right?
Yeah,
There's the
yeah,
super tech advanced, tech
right,
heavy, tech for everything
right,
learners
right.
that just like a sponge. They teach us how to
Yes,
do things, right? And then
right.
there's the other end of that spectrum.
Hmm.
And in my case, I'm not gonna give names, but
Right, 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 right.
this other
Hmm.
end, he is an incredibly talented, ridiculously creative, artistic, and written.
Right.
Just wonderful,
Hmm.
wonderful, talented talent,
Hmm.
hidden talent,
Mm.
because I'm the only one that knows about it.
Mm.
This kid will not. I'm not using any names or anything like that. So
Right, right,
I
right,
want
right.
to paint the
Right, right, right,
picture.
right, right. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
this learner, I've been with them since COVID,
Hmm.
and right before COVID actually, and then
Hmm.
during and then after,
Right.
and home educated, but never left the house.
Mm.
Never turned on their camera. See how we're
Wow.
looking and we
Yeah,
can
like we
take
can see each other. We can, yeah. Hmm.
nonverbal cues. I
Hmm.
For years, okay, it's 2026, so we're talking 6, 7 years. This has been my
Hmm.
learner. 8 years maybe they've been my learner.
Wow.
Yeah, because they were 10 when we met and they just turned
Hmm.
18. 8 years. Oh my
Wow.
gosh, 8 years.
Wow.
Wow.
It's
And
incredible.
I never once in 8 years saw the camera turn on. Never. I
Wow.
spoke to a voice, a black
Wow.
box, a little
Little black
circle
boys
with
with your
initial.
name. Yeah.
After the second year, I said, listen, you're gonna have to change your icon because I can't keep just looking at the letter of your
Yeah.
name when we
Yeah.
talk. It's
Hmm.
disturbing my mental health,
Right.
and
Right.
I
Right. Right.
can't
Right.
help you
Right. Right.
because I have a degree in psychology,
Right.
management, and
Right.
leadership. I need to
Right.
see you.
All right.
But the talent and the creativity that
Yeah.
emanates from this child
Hmm.
verbally was so beyond.
Incredible.
When I tell you the way they spoke, they could describe things, and I felt like I was staring.
Mm.
I was felt like I was looking right at them,
Wow.
and
Wow.
the ideas and the creativity and the world building.
Hmm.
So we didn't sacrifice an ounce of
Right.
their education.
Right.
It was 100% custom. This was even
Hmm.
before COVID, so it wasn't like,
Right.
oh, COVID made me do it.
Right.
No,
No, no.
COVID just made me do it with other kids.
Right.
This
Right.
one was my prototype.
Hmm.
And can I tell you how hard it is to have a conversation with someone you can't see? It makes me go back
Yeah.
to the 70s and 80s when you used to
And
call
on
on
the
the
phone,
old,
call me on the cell phone. Yeah,
you know,
right. On
I
the landline. It was a
remember on the
landline.
landline, I remember
Click,
as
click,
a
click, click, click,
kid,
click. Yeah. Ring, ring, ring.
but
Yeah. Hmm.
I have to go back to when I was a kid and be like,
Mm.
man, you used to sit there and if someone called, you'd hold on, let me go get her. She's out back. And
Right.
like, mom, and you're screaming, right? And then your mom's at the neighbors, and the neighbors, oh,
Yes.
what happened? You
Yes.
got a call from.
Right.
I mean, that's what life was like.
Yeah. That, absolutely.
Not like you
Absolutely.
didn't press a number and send it to her little
Right. Right.
watch, and the watch
Yeah.
would
And I'm
alert.
talking to you now.
No,
Right. Exactly.
right.
Hmm.
It's just bizarre. And I had to
Yeah.
think. in a very retro way
Mm-hmm.
to ultimately teach this kid. And
Right.
this is why I'm having this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
No AI.
No AI.
Didn't even let me use an AI recorder in our meetings because I use
There you
Google
go.
for everything,
Right.
and did not let me use. And I said, listen, this was after the third year. This was now after COVID. I said, look,
Mm-hmm.
AI is like a thing. No, no, no,
Mm-hmm.
I'll never use AI. No, put my artwork, don't put my words, nothing. I'd
Mm-hmm.
never know.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I need to record our conversations so that AI can remind me what we talk about
Right.
because
Right.
we share 10 and 20,000 words an hour
Wow.
because I don't have the visual thing going
Right.
on.
Right. To be able to
We
connect
talk
it.
a lot
Yes.
more.
Yes.
Kim,
Mm.
exhaustive
Oh my
notes. I
gosh.
had an entire notebook.
Oh my
And
God.
eventually I said, you know what? I got this notebook. I take my phone. My wife, bless her, she got me this app. I
Hmm.
scan it and it digitizes everything that I
Oh,
talk about
beautiful.
with my student.
Beautiful.
And I am able to continue. And now we're talking
Wow.
maybe college. But this is a
Mm-hmm.
student that can get into Ivy
Yay.
League and
Yeah.
has zero, zero, zero desire, will not leave their house.
Mm.
No,
Wow.
it's so I've tried
Wow.
to instill remote work, remote
Mm-hmm.
learning
Mm-hmm.
options because that's what the parents ultimately wanted.
Right.
How's he going to work? How are they going
Right.
to do that? And I'm like,
Right.
what do you mean? This is a super talented kid. Remote
Yeah.
work is like a
Yeah.
normal, just as
It's
normal as a
normal for him.
nurse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So opposite
Wow.
end of the spectrum, but as
Mm-hmm.
I use AI for all my learners,
Right.
that I was still able to connect and use it with a learner who very respectfully was like, look, no,
No, thank you.
no
Like he was
AI
saying
with
no, thank you
me.
to you. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no thank you,
Yeah.
regardless. And it's funny
Yeah.
because you're talking to someone who teaches AI Tools Club. Like
Exactly.
I'm on
Exactly.
Forbes magazine
Yeah.
because of my AI Tools Club. How do you want me to not? So
Yes.
it was
Right.
incredibly challenging for me as
Yeah.
an educator, but very necessary when it came
Right.
to helping me connect that beautiful balance of tech with nature.
And
Very nature
so,
oriented
right.
kid.
And so, but you were able to, again, you had the flexibility, right?
Right.
To be, you had
Right.
the choice to be able to do that
Right.
for this student, right? So that goes right back to the winners. Winner. The family wins
The
because
family
they get to
wins.
choose
Right.
that. They can choose that. And then
Right.
ultimately, of course, the children win, the kids win because they're getting a program that is tailor made for them.
Yes.
It's tailor made for them. So when that's why I
It's
said so
nothing like it.
that fourth option is a freedom option. And in my mind, in the freedom option, everyone wins.
Right. That's a
Everyone
win-win-win
wins.
for
It's
sure.
win all the
Freedom
way around.
always wins. Freedom always
Yes.
wins.
Yeah.
And I feel like as a collective, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you are free to, as a teacher, to make your own lessons,
Yeah.
like give me a skeleton. Okay. If I'm a teacher,
Yes.
I'm like, please,
Right.
principal,
Yeah.
director,
Yeah.
give me something. Don't just be
Right.
like, teach it however you
Right.
want.
Right. Right. Give me
No,
something, and then
give
yeah.
me something and then
Mm.
let me run with it. If it's a
Yeah.
40-week school year, give
Right.
me 40 things.
Yeah.
And then I'll do it in
Right.
my magical way
Mm-hmm.
and help these
Mm-hmm.
kids understand those 40 things. And
Yeah.
that's the simplification. That's the beauty of
Yeah.
AI. It's really
Mm-hmm.
narrowed things down education wise
Mm-hmm.
to like, hey, you can learn English ELA seventh grade in 2 hours a day.
Love it.
You can do, or not ELA, I'm sorry, you can do all four core subjects
Mm-hmm.
2 hours a day,
2 hours a day.
twice a week, and you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you'll be twice exceptional as
Mm-hmm.
we have the proof. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah,
proof.
right.
These kids are
Unfortunately, we
being
have the numbers.
tested.
We have the numbers, right?
And
Exactly.
it
Mm-hmm.
really is alarming when I hear the consensus
Yeah.
and the generality, the general pop, gen pop
Yeah.
is under 50%. I mean, come on, the goal has to at
It's
least
like
be
a
half.
third, and like a
If
third,
not, I mean,
a
for me, it's
third and a
everybody, right?
quarter,
In
which
my
is
head, I'm like,
scary.
in my
It's a
mind, I'm like, no,
third. Yeah.
100% of the
Yeah, oh,
people
exactly. Because that's
need
what
to
we want.
know.
We want 100%. And look, and that's what we have, and that's what we strive for in our programs is
Right.
100%. And we're like this 50, like that doesn't exist
Like,
for us.
what? Can you
Right. It
imagine?
does not, right. It does not exist. For us. Could you imagine? Yes, our parents would
I couldn't.
never be in our programs
They would, no, right.
because we would be no better. Right. And because, but
Right.
because we're able to do what we do, because we have the freedom to be able to
Right.
do and customize, we're
Hmm.
able to experience the successes with our families, with these
Right.
children.
Oh, and it's another ball
Makes all
game.
the
It's
difference.
another
Yeah,
world when you're
absolutely.
not clapping for 300 12th graders.
Mm,
You're clapping for 12 or 10,
yeah.
20.
Dude, you got to see our graduations
Is
because
that I've
that
seen
is,
them.
that's a
I'm
right.
you. It fills your
Yeah,
heart because
yeah,
they don't have just because you're homeschooled or just because you're in a
right.
micro school doesn't mean you
Mm.
miss out on
No,
the
you don't miss out
pomp
on
and
any of that
circumstance.
stuff. Oh my goodness.
On
These,
the contrary, it's very
yes. It's
It's very like
so personal.
inclusive and personal.
Yes, it's so
And
per
I don't
it's
like to say
those
exclusive,
families. No,
but
no, but it does. And
because it's yeah,
when you get up on that stage as a parent and you're presenting that diploma to that
it's
student
magical.
and you have the opportunity to speak
Oh, I love it.
into that, and when I take teary eyes, I
Oh
remember
yeah. Oh yeah.
and here you are, and it's
I'm
because
not ready. I'm not
right,
ready. He's going to 10th grade. I'm
I'm
not
just
ready.
telling you, get ready. And dude,
Yeah.
let me come down because I will help you with your graduation ceremony.
Oh
I'm
my
just going to
gosh.
tell you
Yeah. You know what? I might
because
take you up on that.
yeah,
I
I will
might
help you.
totally take you up on that.
I will help you with your graduation ceremony. It will be the most magical,
Oh, I love it.
most heartfelt. It will be the most
Yeah.
emotional and
That's what it's
most
about.
meaningful and impactful. When we want to talk about having like a lifelong memory of
Hmm.
that capstone of those 12 years plus 12 plus years of
Right.
education. Nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
But we're able to do that,
We are.
right?
We are. And the
Because of
opportunities.
how we're
Oh my
structured.
gosh, the
Yeah.
opportunities. I have never,
Mhm.
when I was in regular, I say regular school, in
Yeah.
public school,
Yeah.
I don't remember having opportunities to do things like like I have a learner. He's in
Mhm.
the 10th grader
Mhm.
going to 10th grade, and he applied for this entrepreneur .org program. It was
Love
with
it.
one of the Shark Tank
Oh,
guys
wow. I love it.
and
I love it. Okay.
Damon John,
I
and
love
he
it.
was like he was a mentor, and he started this whole like youth
I love it.
entrepreneur program. And Mason, him I can't talk about because I'm his dad.
Yeah.
Mason, he's always been an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He loves running his own businesses, and he's a kid
Mm.
a money maker at heart. And
I
when he
love
saw
it.
that opportunity, he's like, Dad, I can make $25,000. I was like, Nah, what are you talking about? He's like, it's a grant. And he said the G word
The
to me.
G word, grants.
I
There you
heard the
go.
G
G
word, and I
word,
was like,
grants.
what? Tell me more. Now I'm listening. Um,
Right.
25K
Amazing.
they were going for, and it was, it was his Grow More Garden Co. is the name of his business, and he
Mm.
sells these
Hmm.
seed pops. And it goes back to the idea that all it takes is just a little mustard seed of faith, right? Just a little
Oh,
seed of faith to kind of like grow
yes.
a garden.
Yes.
And it
Yeah.
starts with something that looks like a lollipop. His whole thing
Yeah.
is like lollipops are fake and sugar and
Mm,
artificial.
mm,
This is
mm.
a dirt lollipop with seeds in it, and you put it in the dirt
Hmm.
and it grows.
I love
And so
it.
he's
I
like,
love it.
he's trying to get into the psyche of children.
Yeah.
Children love
Of
lollipops.
course.
It's not
Yeah.
until after they buy five
Yeah.
dirt lollipops that they realize they can't, like lick
Right.
it or eat it. Like, what do I do with this?
You
You
gotta
stick it in
plant it.
dirt.
You plant it. Yeah, you
So
plant
it's a
it.
brilliant,
Yes,
brilliant model.
it's
But
that's
he
yeah, it's
applied for a
genius. Genius.
$25,000 grant and
Hmm.
this wonderful like internship type of opportunity. He made it. He was in first place for like almost 3 weeks of the 12-week run, and then he
Wow.
sort of like sat in third,
Oh my
fourth,
goodness.
and he was top five, which was
I love it.
amazing. This
That's
was like for
fantastic. That's
40,000
spectacular.
people. Now, this is kids and
Wow.
adults. This was not
Wow.
just kids.
That's
So this was kids
incredible.
and adults. And I was like, man, I didn't have that. If I was in a public school, I would have never,
Never
like,
had that.
first of all, I would have had to have been scrolling or surfing the internet,
Yeah.
doing some sort of like
Hello. Right.
Instagram to come
Mm-hmm.
across it, which we would not
Right.
have been doing.
Right.
We probably
Right.
would have been listening to some lecture or reading some book.
Right.
And I'm like, because you were on your phone playing, you
You
found a
found
grant
this.
opportunity, and he pursued it. And I was
I
just so
love
proud
that.
that
So proud of him, of
they're
course.
pursuing it and
Yeah.
putting themselves out there and made all the
Yeah.
videos and it was just
I love
that's
it.
the kind of magic that we're
Yeah.
that we're having over
That's
here.
exactly right. That's exactly right. All
Kim,
right.
this
Wow,
has
this has been
been
amazing.
this has been a good talk.
Angel, I
I love
love
this.
this. I love this. So,
I love it.
y'all, audience, the Hive Interactive, you'll see the links down there. Extend, y'all already know me. But,
Yes.
but I'm just so grateful. Angel, thank you for coming into the corner and chopping it up with me. I love this. And listen, you know we're
Absolutely.
going to have you back. You know we're going to have you back because
Yes,
there's
I was
so
gonna
much for
listen.
us
I
to
was
keep
gonna
talking.
say we have more conversation to be had because
Absolutely.
this goes beyond the state. It goes actually,
Yes.
and I know we brought it down, right? We brought it
Hmm.
down to the family level, and we
Right,
said
right,
that it
right, right,
should
right.
be here. And you're absolutely right.
Right,
It should
right.
be the family level.
Hmm.
But the reality is that this goes
Hmm.
beyond the family, beyond the districts,
Hmm.
beyond the states, and it
Yeah,
goes beyond even a national level. This is
right. It's
a
world. It's
global
global. It's
a global
global.
migration, and really what
Yes.
it is the risk. It's
Yeah.
mitigating risk in AI. So
Mm.
that is a whole nother
Yeah, that's a
conversation.
whole other conversation,
There's
which
a
we
there's
will
a
have.
global perspective that I would love to chat with you
Yeah.
and pick your brain about, because
Okay.
it is very, very fragmented. It is very,
Yeah.
just that, like you're talking about, like absolute integration kind of stuff.
Yes.
You think a
Yeah.
mandate is, oh God, no. The,
Mm. Oh my
the
goodness.
reality, it's Singapore and like in East Asia, and
Yeah.
that they are like absolute integration
Yeah. Oh,
nationwide.
completely. Yeah, completely.
And
It's in everything. It's in everything. It's in
you can't,
everything.
don't even, and don't mention literacy rates.
Mm.
Don't do that, because that doesn't matter.
Oh my. Oh
Oh, we'll
my.
get into it,
We
Kim.
will
We'll get
get into all of these things, y'all. So continue to stay tuned to Kim's Corner. Again,
Thank
shout
you,
out.
thank you,
Thank you
thank
so much to my
you.
brother from another mother, Angel. I
Thank
love you, love you,
you.
love you, love you, love
Yeah.
you. And we will see you
Thank
next
you for having
time.
me.
All
Next
right.
time,
Take
y'all.
care.
High five from the Hive.
Woo-hoo!